Before you pick an eSIM for your trip to Europe, here are 5 things you need to know so your trip doesn't start with a connectivity crisis and a meltdown at baggage claim. Let's start with my go-to pick for eSIMs, Saily. Saily is a digital eSIM from Nord Security. Yeah, the NordVPN people, which means they actually understand how the internet works, unlike some of these fly-by-night travel SIM companies. You download it through an app, install it on your phone, and you're covered in over 200 countries without ever touching a physical SIM card. Easy. By the way, I've got a link to Saily in the description below. You can grab a deal while also supporting this channel at no extra cost to you. But keep watching because here's why Saily is actually different from the competition. Saily builds security features directly into every plan. Ad blocker, malicious website blocking, virtual location changer, all included. That ad blocker alone can save you up to 28% of your data by blocking ads before they even load. On a 10 gigabyte plan, that's almost 3 gigs you're not burning through on garbage you don't want to see anyway. Most competitors like Airalo or Mobamatter, just data. That's it. You want security? You're paying extra for a VPN on top of everything else. Speed-wise, we've clocked Saily at over 260 megabits per second in testing compared to some of its competition, which maxed out around 181 megabits per second. Both use top-tier local carriers, but Saily's performance was noticeably snappier for streaming and video calls. Like, actually noticeable, not marketing department says it's faster, noticeable. Pricing gets interesting. Saily tends to be cheaper for smaller plans, that 1 gigabyte to 5 gigabyte sweet spot most travelers actually use. Check the description for current rates because they shift depending on where you're going, but Saily generally starts lower. Now, the first time I used Saily, I liked it. It worked. But here's the operational difference that'll matter after your third trip. Saily uses one eSIM profile for everything. Install it once, done. Then you just buy new plans through the app for whatever country you're hitting next. Other brands, without naming names, you install a fresh eSIM for each region or country. If you travel, even semi-regularly, that gets exhausting real quick. The trade-off? Saily is data only. No local phone number, no traditional calls or SMS. Honestly, for most people, WhatsApp and FaceTime cover everything. But if you need SMS for banking authentication or something like that, you can run dual SIM, keep your regular SIM active for texts, and then use Saily for data. Most modern phones handle this just fine. Now, the other reason I end up going with Saily is that I've never had a bad experience with customer support. That's just personally, but from a quick search of Trustpilot, Saily hits a 4.7 out of 5 stars. Saily covers over 35 countries across Europe: the UK, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Portugal, Greece, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Austria, Poland, the Czech Republic, Croatia, the Nordics. I'm 96% sure I just named where you're traveling, but again, links below if you want to triple check, you nerd. You can buy a single country plan or grab one Europe-wide regional plan that works across all of those countries. If you're doing the classic backpacking route, Paris to Amsterdam to Berlin to Prague, that regional plan saves you from messing with separate data plans at every border. Your connection just stays active as you move, which is one less thing to worry about when you're already juggling trains, maps, and hotel check-ins. On the network side, Saily connects you to Tier 1 local carriers depending on your country, including providers like Vodafone in much of Europe. You're using the same underlying infrastructure locals use, not a weird standalone tourist network. Speeds and performance depend on the local carrier and coverage, but you're always connected to the best available option in that area. In major cities like London, Paris, Berlin, Rome, or Barcelona, LTE or 5G is common wherever infrastructure supports it. If you head into more remote areas like the Scottish Highlands or rural parts of Italy, speeds can drop to 3G or 4G depending on tower availability. That's not a Saily limitation, that's just how cellular coverage works once you're off the beaten path. Okay, what actually matters when you're using this thing on the ground? Saily supports mobile hotspot and tethering with 0 separate caps. Share your data with your laptop, tablet, or your travel buddy's phone. Whatever. Other brands sometimes cap tethering per day. Saily just doesn't care. Speeds depend on where you are, obviously, but across our testing in multiple European countries, we consistently got performance good enough for navigation, video calls, streaming, like actually functional, not technically works, but you'll hate your life speeds. You get alerts when you've used 80% of your plan, so you're not suddenly cut off mid-Google Maps in the middle of Paris trying to find your Airbnb. Topping up takes like 30 seconds in the app, and if you buy more while your current plan is still running, it queues up and kicks in automatically. No gaps, no downtime, no panic. This is critical, so listen up. You absolutely must install the eSIM while you still have internet. At home on Wi-Fi before you pack, or at the airport before your flight. You physically cannot, download an eSIM profile without an active connection. Seems pretty obvious, but it's something that can get overlooked in all the chaos of planning a trip. And then you land in Amsterdam, you have no internet, and you can't download the thing you need to get internet. It's a real catch-22 situation. Good news, installing doesn't activate your plan. It activates when you reach your destination or 30 days after purchase, whichever hits first. So you can install it a week early, 2 weeks early, it doesn't matter. You won't waste any of your vacation time sitting at the place with the worst Wi-Fi known to mankind. Which hotel has the worst Wi-Fi in Europe? It's the one you booked. It's always the one you booked. When you land, your phone should just connect automatically. Just double check the eSIM is enabled in settings and data roaming is on for Saily specifically. That's it. You're good to go. And remember, this is a one-time thing. A single eSIM profile handles everything. After this initial install, you're done forever. Future trips to Europe, trips to Asia, wherever, you just buy new plans through the app. No reinstalling, no QR codes, none of that nonsense. This is vacation, not homework. One last thing to know. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee if the eSIM won't install or activate. Once it's activated and you've used more than a tiny amount of data, refunds stop, which is standard for travel eSIMs, not a Saily-specific thing, so don't try to game the system. Saily is absolutely worth it and makes the most sense if you're traveling through multiple European countries and want one eSIM that works across borders without thinking about it. The regional plans remove the hassle, the built-in security actually matters when you're on sketchy cafe Wi-Fi in Rome, and the single eSIM setup is ideal if you travel more than once every few years. If you want reliable data without swapping SIMs or paying absurd roaming fees to your carrier back home, Saily does what it's supposed to do. Just install it before you leave, remember it's data only, and make sure your phone supports eSIM. Check the links below for current Europe pricing. And if this saved you from a ridiculous roaming bill, please consider at least a small like. It's this button. It would help us a bunch. Thanks for watching.